everybody, welcome back to Tango Talks. This is episode 14, and I am attempting this alone. Angela's feeling a little under the weather, so let's see how this goes. I figured since I was doing this by myself, maybe we'll just do a little rundown of Tango himself, what I like, what I don't like, things that annoy me, and all that other fun stuff. So let's see what happens, and we'll get on with the show. Okay, so just a little clarification on this episode. I know it said it was episode 14, which I believe is still correct, but it's going to be more of a introduction to our new show, or my new show, which is Looking In, which is going to be my attempt at a little bit of a self-help therapy, I guess. And it's basically going to be me talking about growing up in a small upstate New York country town, and what it was like being gay and poor and feeling forgotten most of the time. So hopefully, you'll tune into that one. I'm using Tango Talks as my segue gateway to promote that new podcast, and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully, you enjoy that one as much as you enjoy Tango Talks, maybe even a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes. And thank you for listening. Okay, so eventually at some point I'm going to have to figure out how to get all of my titles and episodes lined up, because this is actually episode 15. Episode 16 coming up this week is going to be Tango Talks about pet peeves. So sorry for the confusion. I had too many thought patterns going on at the same time, and I think we're organized now. So we'll continue on with this episode, and I do apologize for the confusion. So let's see a little bit about myself. Let's maybe do a little bit of background here. So I was raised in Rome, born in Rome, New York, and raised in Floyd, New York. I went to Holland Patton High School, graduated in 1984. High school was, okay, I guess. I didn't suffer the usual bullying and treatment like that. I had a short list of friends, probably like 5 that I could, count. And yeah, my favorite subjects were, science and art. My senior year pretty much was just all science and art classes, which made it nice because in our school, if you had a certain grade point average, you got put on what was called park plan, and that allowed you to if you had a car, you could leave the grounds during those periods, and you didn't have to go to classes. You could do what you wanted to. My senior year, I had that, and pretty much the way my classes were set up, my day was done at 2:00. I had 2 lunches and 4 art classes and 2 science classes, I believe. And the only thing I really bothered me was 2 things bothered me really. One was there wasn't really an explanation on how the Regents program worked, because if I had taken Regents Earth Science, I would have graduated with a Regents diploma in science, seeing how I took Regents biology, physics, and chemistry. So that was the only thing that bothered me as far as like teachers go. I was notorious for swiping hall pass booklets, and I had about 4 different teachers' signatures down at the time, and people used to come to my locker to get hall passes. I almost got caught. I had a teacher who questioned the signature, and I was like, "Oh no, that's your signature." And she didn't remember signing it, so I stopped doing that. I didn't really want to get in that much trouble. Other than that, let's see, my high school experience. The second thing that really bothered me a lot, well, I shouldn't say it bothered me, but growing up gay in a small country school wasn't the easiest of things. And I think that's what limited my number of friends, just to play it safe. So it wasn't until I think our 20th class reunion, I believe, when a couple people came over and sat down and for some reason felt compelled to apologize for things that had happened in high school, even though we had nothing, no interactions between us, but just expressing how difficult it might have been, and let me know just how sorry they, if it was difficult. But again, most of these people I didn't have interactions with anyway, so it wasn't a big loss there. Let's see. After high school, I went to MVCC, which at the time was rated number 2 in the nation for their graphic design and advertising programs. Being a 2-year college, that was pretty impressive back then. Not sure where they rate now, but back in 84 and 86, that's where they ranked, and did pretty good. It was tough. I had to work my way through it. I was told, when I graduated high school that, my dad was proud that I was the first Hessler to go to college, and, but don't expect any help or financial aid or anything like that. So I was on my own. So I had to work through college, which landed me at Griffiths Air Force Base, where at first I worked on the golf course, and we were, in charge of, trimming, weeding the base and the silos and the, admirals' houses and general houses and stuff like that. And one day I forgot my pass, so they sent me over to the golf course, and that's where I spent the rest of the year and the following year. It wasn't, I think the third year is when I applied to work at the phototech and illustration department and got it. And that was a very, very interesting job, and it landed me several certificates from generals and colonels and stuff like that on my presentations that I did for them. Of course, I wasn't allowed to do anything that was classified or top secret, but it was still a fun job, and the people there were very, very nice and set me up with quite a bit of different things. Let's see. So back to, growing up gay in a small country town and high school, it was difficult at times. There was, it didn't help having a mentally and physically abusive father. I got called names and, threatened a lot. And, as a, 16, 17-year-old kid, that affects you a lot. I know a lot of people say that they don't, and even I say, I've made conscious choice to put the past behind me and try to move on, but those things still affect you, and they affect you through your whole life. And I've gone to counseling a couple of times on it, dealing with my parents. It is what it is. At this point, my father passed away in 2024, just over a year ago, and my mom is in a dementia hospital right now, and she has no clue who we are. So, it's not like we can have discussions about it now, which I wish we had done, when my father was alive, but he was a hard person to talk to and just never felt that, he was wrong. And, so that kind of left me now with, certain feelings and regrets, I guess, towards all that. But, anyway, after high school and college, I started working for a local company. Actually, I started working at not Madison, Penny State. Well, Klein's All Sports first. Let's do this in correct order. Klein's All Sports, where I was in charge of all the graphics and signage and promotional stuff for 14 stores. And I liked the job. I didn't like the person that I was working for, and, ended up leaving that after 4 years. And went on to work at the United Madison Penny Saver, where after 6 months, I got promoted to be the assistant manager. And I apologize if this sounds like, I'm just patting myself on the back half the time, but, I'm just giving a rundown on here. So, who you're talking to on this show. And, just a reminder that, starting in September, we will be doing the shows live. So if you want to call in, it's Tuesday nights from 6 to 7. So if you want to call in and talk about whatever, you know what I mean, or comment on past episodes, you can, break mine and Angela's balls if you want, So, take advantage of that number and give us a shout out, and we won't turn anyone away, and we'll be happy to talk to anybody. And that number, again, I'm going to make myself a sign one of these days, because I'm always searching for the number, is 315-801-9655. And, give us a shout out. Or if you're more of an email person, great. Send us an email to talk@tangotalks.live. That's .live, Live. If you go to .com, you're just not going to find me. But we are available on all your wherever you listen to your pods, and we certainly would appreciate reaching out. But anyways, back to me. Let's see what else. So after Penny Saver, that's when I started working for a small screen printing company called High Roller Screen Printing in Utica, New York. And I worked there about 4 years, and the owner was moving on to other things and granted me the first opportunity to buy the business, which I did. So at 23, I was $85,000 in debt on a business, to run. And, I've never run a business before until that point. But been doing that since, about 1989, maybe. No, let's see. That's probably maybe 1995 is when I bought the business. And it ran great. We did a ton of business, made lots of friends and clients, and really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the neighborhood that I was in wasn't the greatest of neighborhoods, and there was a lot of issues going on, and customers were afraid to come down. So in 2005, I merged with another local company, CNY Awards, and we moved up to the Norfolk Shopping Center and became CNY Awards and Apparel Incorporated. So we've been doing that now for about 20 years, and enjoy it. It's everything. It's everything I get to do as far as graphics, signs and vehicle lettering, and there's a lot of fun things that we do. There's also a lot of fun things we don't do. Lots of arguments. When you got 3 business owners and 1 employee, there's a lot of tension sometimes. Throughout the seasons. You could ask any of them that. They will verify for it. We've had some pretty good arguments and a lot of like, I'm done, I'm out of here, I can't take it anymore. And then of course next day come back in like nothing ever happened. But it is what it is. And I remember when we first merged together and we were moving stuff up there, and one of my business partner's friends asked them, it's like, oh, what's it like working with a gay guy? Like that's supposed to be different. But I remember he turned around and looked at him and said, well, I'll tell you this. If we're ever in a bar fight, I'd rather have him on my side than you. Because, you get us gay guys going and those claws come out and the arms start swinging, you don't know what they're going to hit. But let's see. So another part of my life is, I was married before, and I do have 2 sons, and I appreciate them so very much. And, we have, 3 grandchildren that we love, and we get to have them for a week during the summertime. So, that's always fun too. And, so right now, I was in a 10-year relationship that was kind of horrible. It was, a lot of stress. I'm not going to say it was horrible every day, but it was not fun a lot of the times. And ended up ending that, and then wasn't really looking for somebody, and out of the blue from Match.com, somebody reached out, and we didn't. I was a total dick at first. I will always admit that. But after some emails back and forth, and a couple of movies and a couple of dinner dates, I moved in with him, and we got married in 2012. And I believe at the time we were like the top 5 as far as first in Herkimer County to get married. And it was scary at first. I'll admit that, because you don't know, you heard that one lady, can't remember her name, but she was just in the news again, who refused to do a wedding certificate because it went against her religious belief, which, I'm all for everybody having their own religious beliefs, but your religious beliefs should not supersede the law or somebody else's beliefs. So, I believe what you want to believe, but keep them. I'm not going to say keep them to yourself. You know what I mean? You can obviously voice your opinion, but you can't expect to control other large, you can't afford, you can't expect to control other groups of people with your beliefs by imposing them on others. So, but anyways, we got married. It was great. We've been together 13 years now, and it's been the best 13 years of my life. I mean, we have a wonderful home. We have a wonderful, life, we pretty much do what we want to do. Not going to say we're filthy rich, but we're comfortable. So that's all that matters. And we have lots of fun. There isn't a day that goes by that we don't laugh. So that's a big plus for me, because I didn't have that before. And he's always there for anything that I need, and I hope he feels the same way about me. But this is, I'm going to admit that it's a little weird for me to talk about myself. And, if anybody wants to comment on anything, again, that number is 315-801-9655. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And again, the way my mind works, I'm just bouncing all over the place. But let's see, I think it was 19... it'd be like 19, maybe 2001. I was diagnosed as HIV positive, which, was a little bit of a, shocker. I thought I was smarter than that, but it happened, and I did what I had to do. You know what I mean? So, I've done so well maintaining my health and meds that I've been undetectable for the last 15 years, and to the point now where I'm non-transmittal now is what they call it. So, which is awesome. So that's great. My drink today, just so I don't forget, is I'm having a Jameson ginger and lime. Comes in a can, and I ordered these from a local liquor store, and they deliver them right to my desk. So I'll usually order up a bunch of stuff, and then it'll be there at my desk in like an hour, and I'll bring it home and have some fun. But let's see, what else can we talk about? Currently, let's see. So currently right now, I am part owner of CNY Awards and Apparel, and I own my own company, HM Print and Design LLC, and that's located in Richfield Springs. And there we do everything. We do printing, we do custom carved signs and glass engravings. We can even take bottles and turn them into custom glasses with engraving on them. We do tons of home decor items that we literally have shipped out almost, I think, just about everywhere in the world. I know we've done Australia, a lot to the UK, Ireland. So if you need anything for a gift or for yourself, check us out. It's hmprintdesign.com, and check us out. I think you'll I'm sure we have something there to make just about everybody happy. One of our top things are the bath caddies, the Irish blessing board signs, and the 3D lake naps. So we're going to be working on those some more. We have a UV printer now, and we're going to do see if we can do full color maps with 3D added to it. So we'll see how that goes. We added plasma cutting, so we can cut steel and metal now for you if you want a metal sign to put out in your yard. But again, I'm rambling. Let's see. So we just got done with having our grandkids here, and again, it's always awesome. Second year in a row, I got told by the youngest one that Grandpa Steven is his favorite, not Grandpa Wayne. That's okay. You know what I mean? Hopefully it changes in a couple of years, but it's like, that's nice, you little shit. Let's see. I hope I'm not boring anybody too much. I'm not a very exciting person, and conversations are difficult for me most of the time. So hopefully, you make it through more than just the first 10 seconds of this podcast. Hold on while I take a drink of my Jameson here. I do like my cocktails. That is no lie. Let's see. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about, really. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not that exciting of a person, but I do enjoy this podcast, which me and Angela started back in March, and this is going to be the first of a couple of them, actually. So this one right now, we're on episode 14, and we're still learning stuff. You know what I mean? We have friends and family who will reach out to us and say, so that last podcast, I couldn't understand anything. And we've had so many problems with sound trying to get this show going smoothly. And right now we're having a problem where we can't hear what we're recording. So it's like, all right, well, how do we test this now? And so we have to record it, and then I have to mix it down and save it, and then play it offline and hope that it's good. Otherwise, we got to redo it again. And it's happened a couple of times where we've had to redo an episode, and it's just never as nice. And it's always a good one. So ones that you really, really love, and then you go to play it and you're like, what the fuck? What what is all that noise in the background? And we've learned so much. Like, these microphones pick up everything. We had to put them back on boom arms because anything that if you put your can down on the desk, it will pick it up. It was picking up the fan. We run this through a Surface Pro 9, which does a fine job, except that, these tablets have a small fan in the back, and there was a couple of episodes where that fan actually got picked up by the microphone, even though it's 2 feet away. So I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me with this sound. So hopefully at some point, we have to stick with us long enough. Hopefully we get it to a good point where the sound is great, and we have more people calling in. That's what we're really looking for, or guests. Guests make this show so much fun. So don't give us a call, stop in. Again, it's Tuesday nights, 6 to 7, and in September we will start going live, and then hopefully by Christmas time we'll have the video up and going too, so that you can actually watch us on YouTube if you wanted to. We'll see how that goes. I have a hard enough time with just speaking, never mind having a whole video thing going on. Let's see here. What else do I got here? Don't know what we're going to talk about next week yet. I got to get together with Angela on that one. But let's see. Again, we're still looking. We're still looking for patrons. You know what I mean? So go to patreon.com/Tango Talks 66. We would love. It would mean the world to us if we could get some sponsors on this show. Not that the equipment is terribly expensive, but we've bought 2 upgrades already, and this right now, this is all coming out of our pockets. And obviously we enjoy doing the show, but we also wouldn't mind making a couple coins on the side. So yeah, that would be awesome. Let's see. I think that's about it. I just wanted to make sure that we had an episode going up this week. So I hope you don't mind that it was just me, and hopefully it wasn't too boring for anybody. And we look forward to episode 15. And I'm going to try to start doing on Wednesdays or Thursdays, what's coming up next, because I think people would appreciate that. It might help the show a little bit, and I think that's it. So I know I've said that like 3 times now, but I wish I had something funny to throw in here. Oh, wait a minute, I could do, what's this? Let me try doing the jar of absurdity by myself. There's a lot of things I can do by myself. I don't know if this is one of them. Wink, wink. Okay, what's this say here? What's the most unnecessary superpower you'd want to have? Well, let's see. Unnecessary superpower. There was a show. What the hell was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but I remember one of the characters had a bowling ball with a skull in it. Another one's superpower was he could fart on command. I probably would say that would be the most useless superpower to have. I wish I could remember the name of the show, but there was like 4 or 5 characters on there. And I believe it had Janine Garofalo on there. She is the one that had the bowling ball. And I can't remember the rest of the characters or what their powers were, but those 2 stood out the most to me. So, again, thanks for listening, and I appreciate it. Give us, stop in, to our website, which is tangotalks.live. You could get all the past episodes on there, and there's some, if you go to Patreon, we also have some merchandise that go along with each level on there, and they range anything from, mugs and t-shirts to, custom flight boards and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff on there, and we would appreciate you taking a look at it. So until next time, skull and have a good night.